everybody, and welcome. I am here with Erica Massey, who is a Canadian geoscientist who earned her BSc in Earth and Environmental Sciences in 2014 and her MSc from UBC Okanagan in 2017, where she specialized in glacial-volcanic geochemistry. Massey navigated ambitious fieldwork in Iceland, the Arctic, and all around Canada, and later participated in the Surtsey seafloor drilling project as the sole Canadian geoscientist. She started BC Rising with Lisa and Randy in April of 2013, over 2 years ago, to connect communities across BC and grow initiatives to encourage grassroots involvement in democracy, sovereign community for local food, business, work, and more. Most recently, she has begun developing her own company focusing on rebuilding soil and implementing ancient farming practices across the industry. Thanks so much for joining us today, Erica.
Thank you, Chloe.
So, to get us started today, I would love to give our listeners just a little bit of background about you and talking about academia specifically. So, what was it that motivated you to pursue this specific field, and kind of how did that shape the way that you viewed agriculture and geopolitics?
So I did start my Earth environmental degree, not sure where I was going with it, but little by little I realized that geology was where I really love. And so, I just followed my path where I was most interested in. And that led me to doing an exchange at the University of Iceland for a year and studying volcanism and geology there. And it just really got curious about geologic materials that formed in both Iceland and in BC during the ice ages. And then I ended up studying these during my master's degree. And geochemistry and geology has just become, it's so interesting looking at our Earth, even half a kilometer down. What does it look like when we're running a drill program? We're really, I love just that element of discovery.
That's wonderful. Did you have a favorite location that you got the opportunity to study in? Because you've been all over the world, right?
Yes, I look for volcanoes wherever I go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Iceland definitely has been amazing. I've been back there 9 times on different research projects, and then the year that I studied there.
Mhm.
And that's more, it's a seafloor island on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. And then so that was definitely my favorite. It's like newer Earth, if you want to say that. And it's the lots of volcanism going there more consistently. But in British Columbia and Canada, we've had so much volcanism here too, under glaciers. So, but way back, millions of years ago. And so that my favorite place in Canada is Wells Gray
Mhm.
Provincial Park. It's actually a volcanic field, and
Mhm.
this formed under glaciers a long time ago. So those are my two favorites.
That is really neat. I have never been to Iceland, but I heard it's gorgeous. I've always wanted to visit.
Yes.
And so this is kind of an interesting journey that you have been on, focusing so much time just traveling all over the world studying volcanoes. And now you're involved with an organization, or you founded an organization like BC Rising. So can you talk a little bit about why that transition occurred for you, and kind of just tell me that story?
Okay, yes. So life is like this, you plan something, and I would have never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing. But I was actually offered like a PhD study in Canada to study geologic materials um, that are related to Mars glacial volcanism. And I would have been able to work with scientists that are actually taking the data off the Mars rover. And so this was a PhD offer. I went to that university, flew there. I was going to start. It was like my dream opportunity because what I'd studied during my master's is actually an analog material for Mars. And I got there, and that's when the vaccine mandates were passed, like literally that same week at the university. So no one could even step on the campus without, getting this. And so it actually wasn't even a question. I just thought, no, something didn't feel right at the time. It just felt forced. And I just put that on hold, flew back to where I'm from in the Okanagan.
Mhm.
And I just thought, we have more work on Earth and Mars right now. So
Yeah.
that was just like life's like that. These decisions come up and it's a totally different path. So then I started to really dig into what was happening on kind of a global scale. And I'm a researcher at heart. And it just led me to like our local community was meeting and talking about what was happening at that time in 2020. And so we started in the Okanagan, there was a group that got together. I mean, we're talking like, yeah, doctors, scientists, uh, municipal board committees. So people in private about what was happening. And I ended up being in the room when it was a group called Unity. And all it was is just educating the public and ourselves and talking together. And so when BC, there's a woman there, well, Lisa, I ended up working with a lot. And we ended up working a lot with health professionals and doctors and educating the public about data. And so this became very connected across BC and actually Canada at that time. We developed a package called the Medical Doctor Package. And so we thought, why not? We could see across the province of BC that people were doing all types of different things. So why don't we just help people connect across the
Mhm.
province and just have a weekly meeting? And that was the whole intention, is just to connect so we could find solutions and talk about what was going on in our communities. And so Lisa and then Randy and I just started BC Rising. No website, nothing. It was all vetted people, we had to know each other, but it really started with the doctors and the medical professionals and talking about what was happening to our healthcare system with the Health Professions and Occupations Act, Bill 36. And then it went in, then it just grew as we launched social media and a website. And I must say that so BC Rising is thousands of people. It's not myself, it's not Lisa, it's not Randy. We help guide it, but this really is the community's. Uh, it's a space for people to talk about what's going on, and so much creative solutions come out of that. And because of that space, that we've been able to go to the BC legislature twice and through different kinds of campaigns and even the ostrich farm. Many people have heard of the Universal Ostrich Farm. We were the group that were contacted. Can you help the farm? We're about 2 hours, an hour and a half from the farm. So we did a hour and a half. We had an emergency meeting and put together the website, the Save Our Ostriches website, the media, and the CFIA were coming out to the farm the next day. So we were there, 10 of us. So I helped put this emergency together with Katie and Karen and the farm. So we went out there and hand wrote our signs and we just observed. And it was the first time I'd live streamed. It was like capturing what was happening. But this is what I feel that BC Rising was uh, what it was meant to do, is be there for each other in our communities and educate and support people. So being part of that, the Save Our Ostriches campaign has been pretty amazing. It's become a global phenomenon, but that's how strong that there was only 10 of us that day, and how we can all make a difference. Yeah.
That is really amazing. I'm curious as to when you guys initially started BC Rising, did it grow very, very quickly, the community, or did it take some time for people to kind of catch on to the significance of what you guys had built?
At first it was slower because we had a closed meeting. I mean, we had to vet every single person. But
Mhm.
as soon as we went on to we decided, you know what, let's just everyone just let's get together and put it on, like have our Zooms public
Mhm.
and just invite everybody. And that's when it really took off. And it went, thousands, and now it's like 10,000 plus, like there's a lot of people that join it's our Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Now there's people from many provinces that are on our meeting. So it's just a way to connect. I think some people have really got involved since the ostrich farm and see what we're doing and kind of want to do that in their communities and other provinces. And we're dealing with similar things across Canada. So it's really grew fast once we just said, you know what, let's just have these Zoom meetings public, and more people got involved.
That is really cool. So for you personally, have you been able to implement like your background in geology and soil science in how you are kind of guiding these grassroots movements within BC Rising?
I'd say they're two different hats that I wear. So,
Okay. How so?
that's my professional career that I love. And so it's a balancing of both.
Mhm.
I'd say where really there is some overlap is it's just agriculture in itself is where I can see that like our soils are dead, many of our soils are dead. Um, and so that's what I've been learning is more about what can I do with what I have in my mind, in my brain now with as a geoscientist and
Mhm.
serve I don't know, serve better more what's needed. And so that's where I started my own company in regenerative agriculture and biochar and just going and meeting the farmers, the vineyards, and really talking about our soils. So
Mhm.
that's where I'm really excited to, you know, change. These are ancient practices that I'm teaching out of the Amazon that our people are starting to kind of wake up to this, is that
Mhm.
actually we're remembering how to do things. And so I'm really excited about doing that in our local area and then expanding. And so BC Rising is really about how to find solutions for different areas, and agriculture is a huge one because that our soil
Mhm.
health is our own health, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious as to what are the different methods you guys are wanting to implement within Canada in terms of like ancient farm. I've never heard that phrase, ancient agriculture. That's new to me. So I'm so curious.
Well, it's the name that some may be familiar with is biochar or
Okay.
terra preta. So this is a practice that uh, really was based in South America, and how the Amazonians needed to build their soils so that they could grow healthy food. Um, and so it's not charcoal, it's not ash, it's a way of burning the wood debris and the biomass so that it becomes biochar. So that this is a material that breaks it's basically just very porous once it's burned this through pyrolysis, and it's able to hold on to the microbes in the water in the soil. And so it solves so many problems that we have, or challenges in dry climate. Farmers need about 40% less irrigation. Um, and of course, the microbes in the soil are so key. And so it holds on to all of the, like lots of microbes. So some vineyards I've visited, they have said our soils are dead. So they're wanting to change what we're doing to our soils. And so the biochar just is sits in the soil and does all of this good activities, and it stays there for a long time, which is how they were doing it more than 1,000 years ago.
That is so neat. And what a practically helpful thing, too. I think everybody could benefit from better soil even in their, little backyard gardens. That's that's
Yes,
really
lots of
neat.
gardeners are getting it from us. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, I've used that for my garden, that's awesome.
Yes.
So cool. So I love that you have figured out a way to kind of balance your passions and your academic background with now the work that you're doing at BC Rising. And so I would love to kind of tie it all in a little bit with you understand very well the importance of community and networking and working with people who, maybe are like-minded, maybe they're not, regardless, just having conversations with people. And so I would love to hear from you as to kind of what was your motivation and why are you excited to participate in the Reclaiming Conference this year? Because honestly, that fostering those conversations is our ultimate goal, right? And so I would just love to hear your take on that.
Okay, yes, the Reclaiming Conference, I started to watch like the speakers that were coming, and the intention of the conference is leadership, And so there's what attracted me was the speakers are just from all types of backgrounds and all topics that really need a lot of conversation. And so what we found with BC Rising is just when people are able to connect, and we do most things on Zoom, there is so much there's so much creativity and solutions that come about by that. The one thing that's missing is in person. There's nothing like a phone call. That's another level is a personal conversation, and then meeting in person. That's where we were able to build what we did, is because we met in person. And we see it time and again. We see a lot on social media and we think it's real, but we just that's so important right now is to connect in person and have those conversations. So I see that there's doctors, there's scientists, there's people in finance, politicians from all types of parties. You know, it'd be great to have representatives from them all, right? Like, I mean, how often do they really get to talk to each other and just move past having boundaries? Because probably most people just want the same thing, right? So I'm really excited about the Reclaiming Conference, offering a platform to have, from what I understand, keynote speakers that have important information, and to panels of discussions, to a broadcast where those interviews can happen. And another thing I noticed is that there's lots of independent media, podcasters, journalists who are coming together too to help, so for them to connect and talk about how, I mean, we know that media is very important and how people get information and what we're listening to. First, I believe this is the first time in Canada. I think it's really rare that this will be happening. So that's all reasons why I got involved and want to contribute.
Wonderful. Well, we are very excited to have you joining us. And to our listeners, if you all are interested in learning more as to how you can get involved and attend this super exciting history making conference, I encourage you to visit our website, weunify.ca, where you can see all the details regarding ticket purchases. It's taking place in Calgary, Alberta, September 19th through 21st. And we hope to see as many of you there as are interested in attending. Thank you so much for your time today, Erica. It was great to talk to you.
Thanks, Chloe. Bye
Of
for now.
course. See you in a few weeks.
Yeah.